Oh, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm so glad I watched Barbarian. I nearly didn't watch it. I heard about it when it came out, and I didn't really hear much about it. And then when I was looking through Amazon and I read the description, it sounded like pretty basic. People stay at a strange house and bad things happen, some killer running around. It wasn't really. But I watched it anyway, because there really wasn't anything else. And I just had heard some good things about it peripherally. And it was amazing. It was one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while because it was unpredictable, it was different, and it surprised me, and it scared me, and it made me want to turn it off and go find a nice, comfortable slasher with some guy running around the woods and a knife. The film starts off with the main character, Tess, played by Georgina Campbell, going to this B&B, and she gets there and there's no key to get in. So she's wondering what, and then she sees a light go on, and there's a guy inside, a guy called Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård, and he's also paid to stay there that night. So they work this out, and it's uncomfortable, but he seems fine, but I'm thinking he can't be fine because this is a horror movie, so I'm very suspicious of him the whole time. Now, she ends up staying in the bedroom, he stays on the couch. In the middle of the night, her door's open, and he's having nightmares. She wakes him up, there's a bit of a freak out, but things are fine. The next morning, she goes off to a job interview, she comes back, and she can't find him, I believe, that's right. And she's looking around, and she finds this hidden door downstairs in the basement. Now, I have to say, I know from the last time I looked at my analytics, most people who watch my videos, the scores of them, are usually from America or the UK. Now, in Australia, we don't have basements. In my entire life living in Australia, I've never seen a house with a basement. We just don't have them. Just the way the country's set out, we just have so much space. We build really big houses that's, go over big areas or big yards and everything. We don't sort of build up and under like some American cities and UK cities. So I find the idea of a basement absolutely terrifying. And yeah, she goes down, and what's going to happen. You assume he's luring her down to trap her. And there is a room with a camera and a bed and a bucket, and someone's being kept there and stuff like that. But then she finds another door, and there's a cave going even further down with stairs and everything. And eventually you find him, and he actually gets killed by this female monster. So he was innocent the whole time. And that's the end of that section of the film. And you think they're both dead. Then we get Justin Long, who I didn't even know was in the film, so that was a happy surprise, because I was going to watch him in another film that looked really boring, but I like him, so I was going to watch it. I'm like, no, I can't even, not even for Justin Long, that sounds really boring. And then there he was in this film. I'm like, great. He's a TV producer who's being accused of sexually essaying someone on his team. His show's getting dropped, and he basically ends up having to sell that house to pay for the court costs. So he goes back to the house, he gets there, and he sees stuff lying around like someone's been staying in the place. He calls the real estate, they should have left. If they left, it would have been cleaned up. He's like, who's in my house? Are there squatters? Whatever. He goes looking, and he eventually ends up down the same hole, same tunnel, but he's measuring it for square footage because he thinks he can include it separately in the overall footage because he's trying to sell the place. Now, the extra rooms, I guess you could do something with, but the caves and that, I don't know why he went down there. That was just stupid. He finds the same monster. He falls in a pit. Tess is still alive, and she's being kept alive by this monster. There's some naked mutant barbarian woman who has been raised to have babies for the guy who used to live there, and she survived on that, feeding her milk and treating her like a baby. So she tells him to go along with it. They eventually escape. Now she gets out, goes to the police. They don't believe her. They think she's crazy. They don't help at all. Typical police. They just care about protecting property, and nothing in that area is valuable or belongs to the government, so they don't care. They just leave her there on the street, literally. Now, why she didn't point out, there's my car, I have my keys. If I came here in a car like this, why would I be like some homeless person? I came here to stay in this house, as you can see, is different from the rest of the neighborhood. I think she could have convinced them, but story-wise, they couldn't really help. Although they could have just gotten killed and disposed of. But she's attacked by a homeless man really early on, but then he turns out to be trying to help her because he knows there's a creature under the house. He knows it's been there. He's been living there for years, but doesn't come after him for some reason. Now, Justin finds the original man who's still alive down in a different section. He sees the videos of what these guys done over the years towards different women he's kidnapped. The guy kills himself. Justin meets up with Tess. They escape, and they end up trying to get away. They end up on a tower, and you have this horrible moment where he throws Tess over so the monster will jump. And the monster does jump. You think Tess is dead, but somehow the monster did that thing where they push themselves faster than people fall on gravity and gets behind her and cushions her fall, but still doesn't die, but saves her. And then eventually it allows Tess to shoot it and put it out of its misery. And not before it poked Justin's eyes out, because it sounds like he did SA that girl and he did kill her, and then he found these weird ways of justifying, explaining it to himself, talking to himself like, oh, he wasn't talking about being innocent the whole time. He was justifying what he did to himself. And there is a moment where he seems to be, locker room talking with a guy in a bar, and it does sound maybe something with him, and he did actually try and apologise. So you got a little bit of a hint that maybe he had some issues, but they hit it fairly well. He played it fairly well, and it was a surprise. There were a bunch of surprises. When they first are lost in the tunnel, I thought they were done. Then we get Justin Longshot. I thought it was going to be another story. I didn't realise they were going to find Tess. I didn't think Tess was still going to be alive. When he threw her off the roof, I was shocked that he was this evil guy, this sociopath that apparently could do something like that and have no remorse. And I thought she's dead. Then she survived again. So she ends up living. The monster is gone. Put out of his misery. The other guy's dead. And it was just a really well-directed, well-produced, well-acted, good makeup. The monster, which is basically a naked woman who is like, you can imagine someone who grew up in caves their whole life that has never had a normal existence, but not an actual monster, but appeared like one. Just all really brilliantly done. I'm so glad I watched it. I just heard, I think, Jessie Gender had looked at it, and I thought, well, why is she looking at it? There must be something different about it. I figured it was just some queer positive character or something like that, but I'll watch this one. So I'm really glad I saw it. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.